Oh my God, I've just watched the absolutely worst video about Kundalini I have ever encountered. It's called The Swami and the Serpent, a non-dualist encounter with Kundalini. This guy is one of Swami Dayananda's students. Now, Swami Dayananda, if you don't know who he is, I know who he is. I've spoken with him when I lived in Rishikesh. He lived in Rishikesh. He died in Rishikesh, okay? He was one of these so-called gurus, and he was Narendra Modi's guru, okay? Anyway, his big thing was his students would read a lot of books, and they'd sit there and debate and yammer about non-duality. They're like the Advaita police. They sit there and learn to parrot it, but they have no experience. Yet they know more than anybody else, okay? All you have to do is understand. Understand it, and then you got it, okay? All you have to do is have a logical ideation, a concept, and then act as if you actually have non-duality, okay? Well, he's done the same thing with this encounter with Kundalini. He starts out and says, well, I've read these things. You know, the rishis. Now, I went through the 12 Upanishads on non-duality. I've got that. But what about these 20 Upanishads about Kundalini? Now, if my guru was still alive, I wouldn't even try this because he doesn't believe on experience. Yeah, no, he doesn't believe in experience. Okay? Just memorize something. You don't need actual experience. Okay? And just like this guy's got no actual experience of Kundalini, he decided he's going to read it and we're going to have this adventure together. 20 days. 20 days. He did a meditation and imagined a heat. Imagined this and imagined that. And thought at the end of 20 days he actually experienced the whole of Kundalini. And it was kind of a letdown. Well, of course, because you didn't actually experience anything to do with Kundalini. Anyway, if you want to see the most bogus thing about Kundalini you have ever seen, if you can stand to get through it, and watch this guy. His enunciation is so precise. So that entails and just shows how absolutely wise that he is. Okay. I reviewed the film and gave it a 1 star. I'd give it 0 if I could. But yeah, I know these guys. You know, again, they really think they're hot stuff. They strut around and, you know, they're Vedantists and nobody can tell them anything. And they know. And not one iota of experience anywhere. Okay? He went with Dayananda to a place where they were doing some Kundalini yoga, and the people there, after a while, they'd yell out and somebody would have a kriya. And Dayananda told him, well, you know, they just have a belief thing that when it pierces a chakra, that they're going to have this, and so that's why they do it. It's all their imagination. It's not real. Don't pay attention to it. Okay? This guy knows nothing about Kundalini. So again, he's had a great imagination. He imagined he felt a warmth. He imagined this and imagined it going up. You can just sit down and have the experience of Kundalini while you're meditating and imagining it. And that's the same thing as having a real, genuine Kundalini awakening. Okay? And you can see this is what I dealt with in India. This type of absolute nonsense that's there. And Dayananda, this is one of those guys that's rabid, absolutely rabid about Hinduism, and that Christians are trying to convert everybody, and it's so toxic, and I mean rabid. Okay? If you read this one site, the Bharati, you'll see they're just rabid about Hinduism and just make the most outlandish statements. So toxic, okay? So embedded and ingrained in toxicity, okay? So again, if you've got nothing else better to do and you want to see a totally bogus video on Kundalini, I mean, again, it's the worst video I've ever seen on it in my life. You can watch the Swami and the serpent, a non-dualist encounter with Kundalini. No, he's had an encounter with his imagination and his belief systems, which totally poo-poo Kundalini. You don't need Kundalini. All you need is knowledge, and you get knowledge through books and studying, okay? And learning something by rote, and then you actually have something. No, if you read ones like even Ramana said, you're not going to get to realization without Kundalini, okay? So these guys are so bogus. Oh, and this is why I have no desire to ever go back to India again, because I dealt with these fly-by-night gurus in India when I lived in Rishikesh, and it was just, and these guys, they go and they learn to Advaita speak, and then he has them go open ashrams everywhere. It's a big money-making business, that's it. And just puffing people up to think that they actually have something, when all they've gotten is they've become very expensive taped programs that spit out parroting. That's it. Okay? That's it. It's like learning by rote a book on surgery, yet you've never done one iota of surgery in your life. But you can sit there and recite the whole manual and think you're as good as the world-class surgeon. Okay? And nobody can tell you any different because you have knowledge. Okay? And on that note, I'm going to go to bed because the minute I heard it was Swami Dayananda's student, I was like, oh, I know we're in for it. Sure enough, worst video I have ever seen on Kundalini. And he takes things out of context, okay? Takes things out of context. No clue. And so many people were 5-star, oh, this video was so fabulous, it was so wonderful. They're not going to like my review of it. I'll read you my review of it, okay? The 1 star, the headline is 100% bogus. My review says this guy has no experience with genuine Kundalini. He wants to present as knowledgeable, and he has a great imagination, but absolutely no standing to speak of Kundalini. Dayananda, his guru, I have known while living in Rishikesh, and these guys basically read a lot of books and strut around talking about non-duality, but have nothing other than an ideation about it. You don't go through a Kundalini journey in 20 days, okay? Kundalini is awakened. It's a long, difficult journey. He very conveniently took things out of context and spun it as if he had some great insight. Guys like this think you can read a book and have wisdom. He's a parrot. Non-duality is entered at the end of a genuine Kundalini journey, and that journey takes years and perhaps lifetimes, not days of imaginary drama. He did not encounter Kundalini. He only encountered his skewed ideas about Kundalini. He has studied non-duality and holds it as a concept, just as he has shown he has a skewed ideation about Kundalini. A 20-day journey indeed. Sit down and experience Kundalini in meditation indeed. No, once Kundalini is actually awakened, it's a 24 hours a day, 365 days a year happening. And there is no off switch. And be prepared for a 40-plus year journey where it's real heat, not imaginary, to the point you feel like you will spontaneously combust. And this can take place for months. This is a terrible video. It has nothing to do with actual Kundalini nor the living reality of non-duality consciousness. How do I know and say this? Read my book on Kundalini From Hell to Heaven and find out what a genuine Kundalini journey entails. Films like this should be totally outlawed. They're totally bogus claptrap. Okay? So, I don't think they're going to like my evaluation of the film. But I couldn't believe going over there and I see all these 5 stars. 5 stars. I'm like, yeah, really? 5 stars? I didn't read them, but rational and New Age debunking discourse on Kundalini. Oh, lecture on Kundalini Yoga, 5-star. Fascinating documentary on the spiritual tradition of Kundalini Yoga. Oh, beautifully explained. Deep Indian spirituality is tough to explain unless one has spent a lot of time on spiritual knowledge. Nicely explained by Swamiji. Gives you fundamentals of Kundalini Yoga. It's clearly explained what and why and how of Kundalini Yoga. Oh my God. Clear, informative teaching, inspiring, grounding. Oh my God, delicately informative, awesome instructional process. Informative but not instructional, not really a documentary. He gave it 4 stars. And another 5-star, step by step. Very informative video. I love how he went step by step and explained Kundalini Yoga through his observations and make it easy for someone new to clearly understand the entire process. Are you kidding me? Is that the ignorance of so many people out there? All of them 5-star, 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 5-star. It was fabulous. Oh my God, it was so enlightening. Now I understand Kundalini Yoga. Lord have mercy. Oh, yes, all you have to do is sit there in an orange robe and speak slowly, distinctly, show a few verses up there, and they absolutely think that you know something, that you're such a great light. Oh my God. Well, I'm going to leave this here. Again, if you've got time and you want to see the biggest claptrap ridiculous notions about Kundalini. And this is what people are watching and buying into, because he's sitting there in orange and he reads a few things and takes it so spun out of context. Okay? Has absolutely no experience at all. Yet in 20 days, he's going to tell you everything there is to know about Kundalini because he's experienced it. If you watch it, I'd like to have your impressions of it. And good luck with that. I'll see you guys online. Have a great evening.